you're Puerto Rican, right?
Mm-hmm.
My question is, how is it living in a white neighborhood but being Puerto Rican?
So what Jocelyn's referring to is the fact that I told her that my parents worked really hard to get us out of like the ghetto in New York. We were living in the Jacob Riis project apartments. Pretty bad. Not the worst, but pretty bad. And they like worked really hard by living with my grandma to save up money to get a house in like a suburban neighborhood. So we went from like
Poor to rich.
Poor to kind of rich. Or like we were technically middle class, but we were living in a rich area. So my dad also he was lucky. I told him this last time. My dad in the NYPD was a really good shot. Like for 2 or 3 years in a row, he was like best in the state. And because he had like little like accolades as a police officer, he was able to get a really high paying job at Suffolk County, which is I think the second or most highest paying job for cops in America.
Hi guys, welcome back to another podcast. Today we're here.
Hey, you gotta get the energy up. Come on.
I'm here with Eileen, Joanna, and our special guest, Mr. Solar.
Hi, guys.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, Joanna. You go. Say hi.
Hi.
Okay, great.
So today we're gonna get to know Mr. Solar more.
This is actually round 2. I don't know if you guys want to admit that on the podcast, but we did this once already, and
there's probably gonna be a part 2.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Part 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Get to know more about
the whole
Solar,
episode.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, they learned a little too much last time.
Yeah.
And then they lost the audio, so now we're back here. But anyway, sorry.
Anyways, so do you guys want to ask the first question?
No.
How about Joanna hits me with the first question?
Were you a bad kid in school?
Yeah. I was not a bad kid in school, but I wouldn't say that I was a good kid, a 100% good kid. I was definitely. So I told a story last time that I'm definitely gonna tell again.
A nerd.
Yeah, a nerd, because nerds make money. So I was in all honors and AP. Sorry if I sound a little stuffy. I am.
We see that.
Dayquil's not helping. But no, I was in all honors and AP. But also I did love nerdy stuff. Like I love like video games, like movies, all that. Comic books. Superman was like my big thing back in high school. But I was also like I was very an alternative kid. Like shopped at Hot Topic, really like emo.
What's the topic? Devil worship?
Devil worship, hairspray, Justin Bieber haircut.
Oh,
like back in the day. All black clothes, that kind of thing. But I also like was into like skateboarding and stuff, and just like graffiti. I never did it on a wall that I wasn't allowed to do it on, but but
we see one behind McDonald's.
I was not
Solar is here
behind the McDonald's. I don't want people to like, oh my god, that would not be my brand. But I definitely would have like trespassed on some abandoned property or something I probably wasn't supposed to. But I was like, I knew school was important because the background I came from was like really poor and broke and a lot of my family members were uneducated and that didn't give them a lot of opportunities in life. So I took my school really seriously, but rules in general always like felt, I don't want to say bad, but there's nothing that works 100% for everybody. So it's like a rule that they apply to every child is not actually like great. And also I was undiagnosed back then, ADHD, and that didn't help because I was like a crazy little gremlin. I told this story and I still am. And I found the picture of it. I'm gonna send it to you guys so you can include it in the podcast. But one day in 9th grade, I remember I was in an honors English class and it was like really serious. Like the teacher, she was like not playing around, tons of like experience, and she was very strict. But I come in, she's not there. Everyone has a desk, and for some reason that day there weren't enough desks for all the kids. So I'm like, where do I sit? Whatever. And in the back of the classroom, we had a huge pile of old textbooks that they were trying to get rid of because we got some new textbooks. So I literally made like a chair and a desk out of the textbooks, and it was like so weird and like crazy. And obviously, the other kids thought it was hilarious and wild. The teacher, she just took one look at me and she was just like, she honestly didn't even care that much because I think she was just fed up with me. But she was like, just go change your books for a real chair. And she let me use the textbook desk the rest of the period. And I have a picture of it. I'll send it to you guys.
Oh my.
My outfit's kind of bad that day, but it's fine. I was a teenage boy. So yeah, like that's the kind of kid I was. Should I tell them about the like bus story?
Yeah. We want to know.
So
Everybody want to know.
I told these girls about it. Another example is the only time I ever got in trouble at school was I was in, I think, 11th grade, maybe 10th. I think it was 11th though. And no, it was 11 because I was taking AP classes at that time. And, you know, A student, B plus student, like in AP and honors classes, dressed like a total emo kid, but smart, whatever. Never got in trouble in school. One day on the bus, going home, I have a Sharpie. And I'm sitting there, and our buses had like these brown leather seats, and no impulse control, undiagnosed ADHD, also stupid teenage boy. I drew a very rude symbol, let's say. I'm miming it with my hands right now, on the back of the bus seat, and just thought it'd be funny. You know, I was like, it's Sharpie, it's not a paint marker. It'll be easy for the custodians to clean it. I didn't care. Next day, there's this kid, his name was Kyle. He was always getting in trouble, always doing stupid stuff, just like that. And apparently, he had been talked to so much and had gotten so many warnings that he was about to be expelled if he did like one more like infraction. Mm-hmm. And I see this kid, and he's one of these cool kids, tough kids, whatever. And he's like crying, like sobbing, red face in the middle of the hallway. And I didn't really know him. Like I wasn't friends with him, but you see someone crying,
you're gonna like, obviously want to know why.
Yeah, and you're gonna be like, dude, are you okay? Like whatever. Especially like a tough kid who doesn't cry. And he was saying that he's like, someone drew this thing on the bus, and
they think it was me.
Yeah, they think it was me, and I didn't do it. I'm gonna get expelled. My parents are gonna kill me, and blah blah blah. And I was like, oh my god. I was like,
gotta fess up.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I gotta fess up. Like I'm gonna get this kid expelled because I did something stupid. So I literally went to the dean, who was also, I think, an assistant principal. He was actually a science teacher, very smart guy. And he was just like, and I told him, I was like, hey, just so you know, that thing on the bus, that wasn't Kyle, that was me. And like the look of like shock on his face, because he was like, all right. And then like, he took me to his office and we talked about it. He like literally pulled up my like, I don't know if it was a permanent record or whatever, but I had like never been talked to, never detention, ISS, nothing, had good grades, wasn't failing any classes, was in honors and AP classes, had never even been given a warning in my school. And in that school, you usually get one warning before they try to give you like ISS or something or detention. And he was just baffled. He was like, why did you do that? And I was like,
I was bored.
Yeah, I was bored. I had a Sharpie.
Out of my mind.
Out of my mind. I thought it'd be funny. It was the end of the school day. I had all this energy. And then he was like, a little girl saw that, right? And I was like, what? And he was like,
elementary goes there too.
Yeah, he was like, that bus doesn't just transport high school students. He's like, that picks up the elementary kids. She saw it first thing the next day in the morning. And her mom had told her that if she ever sees that she needs to tell her parents because little girls aren't supposed to see that, right? Mm-hmm. And, I'm sitting there like, but, I felt like my stomach dropped because I was just like all of a sudden feeling really guilty. A stupid joke that I thought at worst would be, an inconvenience to a custodian, which even now I still feel guilty about that actually, ended up like low-key traumatizing this little girl, or at least traumatizing her family, because they were like, well, what is my girl being exposed to at this school? And then also like got Kyle in trouble and stuff, and I felt really guilty. So my drawing ended up being a really important life lesson for me about consequences and how even little things you do that you think don't matter do matter. So that's the kind of kid I was, not bad, but a gremlin is what I'd say.
Yeah. Like, a question I have is, where are you from? Like, you say you're like
Hmm.
Puerto Rican,
Puerto Rican, yeah, hundred
but you
percent.
were
Thankfully.
raised in New York, right?
Hmm.
How did it feel like being raised in New York but being Puerto Rican and you can't like explore your culture that much?
That's actually really funny you bring that up because there's a term for it called New Yorkers, and a New Yorican, I think New York is like I forgot the stats. It's something crazy, but basically there are a lot of Puerto Ricans who live in like New York City and New York State in general, but New York in general, and it's like almost equal to the population like on the island or something like that, or like the biggest cities on the island, something like that, and a lot of New Yorkers like have this thing called diaspora, which I don't know if you girls have ever heard of this, but it's a word that most people of color, or but also most people who like immigrate to a new place, experience. It's when you feel a disconnect from your root culture because you're growing up in a new place.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of us feel it. And it was very present, prevalent amongst Puerto Ricans because you're trying to have this identity of I'm Puerto Rican, but also I'm American, but also I'm a New Yorker, and then also a generational thing. My dad is very much like a Gen X, I think, Puerto Rican versus me like a '90s millennial kid Puerto Rican.
Oh,
Um, it was fine. My biggest regret or my biggest like issue with the culture. Puerto Rico is a weird place because as an island, I mean, it literally is called like Rich Port, Puerto Rico. So it's a place where all these different people would come, nations would come, and like it was a big little melting pot unto itself. You had the Arawak natives, you had, slaves who then became freed on the island, you had, European explorers, people from different countries of South America, wherever. And so it's a funny place because it's very diverse. Like my grandma, she is green eyes, white skin, red hair, because her family was she was almost 100%. Her family was all from like actual Spain, like Europe, or not, I want to say Spain, but Europe in general, like, like the white people.
oh yeah.
And the man she married, my grandpa, he was a, Afro Latino, like half black, half, Hispanic Puerto Rican. His dad was an indentured slave for for the Domino Sugar Corporation. He used to cut sugar cane. So like, it was a weird mix. So everyone, even including my own family, was like struggling to find identity. And but I think everyone at the end of the day who's Puerto Rican knows like that the island is just so diverse. So the thing that like binds us is like the music and the food, and the just hate for mosquitoes and humidity
Yeah.
and stuff. But
So you were Puerto Rican by heart, but not like by like
yeah,
appearances.
yeah, by appearances or like even just culture, because it's like I remember one time when I visited the island when I was a kid, we had sunglasses, and because the sun's bright, whatever.
Yeah.
But one of my cousins, she was joking. She like that only rich people have sunglasses,
No.
and she would even say like, "Oh, the people on that part of the island, they're so rich that even the mosquitoes that live there have sunglasses." I was
Bro.
like, "Yeah, it's like such a
Like,
weird joke."
the mosquitoes.
Yeah,
Next thing you know, you see a squirrel like just sitting there chilling.
yeah, exactly.
Sunglasses on.
With the little bread and then their glasses.
Right.
Yeah. But it was like, so that was a little weird. But my biggest thing is like, I don't speak Spanish. Like I'm not fluent in Spanish because my dad, he used to live in Puerto Rico, moved to the States when he was about 3. And he had such a hard time in the American public ed system, like trying to like learn English, speak Spanish. And that he told my mom when we were born, he was like, they're not going to speak Spanish. They're only speaking English because I want them to get ahead in life. And that sucks because it's like, it really speaks to like America as like, kind of like racist or at least
Yeah.
culturally majority like homogenous like thing where it's like only if you speak English you can get ahead. And it low key is still true. If I had some crazy name too, like I'm Eric on a resume.
Eric Solar
Yeah,
Dollar.
Eric's so you're sweet. But like I have a name that you could imagine could be a white person's name.
Of course.
So like I'm gonna be
No hate to the white people. I'm sorry.
no,
But-
but statistically, it's just like if you have a ethnic sounding name, you're less likely to get hired in higher paying positions. So it's like things like that where I felt like I was in a generation where I had to like live up to American potential. So I had to like eschew or like get rid of like some of that person of color identity. But sorry I talk so much. Jocelyn's literally falling asleep.
no, you're good. I mean, this podcast is about you at the end of the day.
No, you're sweet. You guys should definitely talk more too.
I have a question.
Yes, Jocelyn.
So, you're Puerto Rican, right?
Mm-hmm.
My question is, how is it living in a white neighborhood but being Puerto Rican?
So what Jocelyn's referring to is the fact that I told her that my parents worked really hard to get us out of like the ghetto in New York. We were living in the Jacob Riis project apartments. Pretty bad. Not the worst, but pretty bad. And they like worked really hard by living with my grandma to save up money to get a house in like a suburban neighborhood. So we went from like
Poor to rich. Well,
poor
not
to kind of
having-
rich, like
yeah.
or like we were technically middle class, but we were living in a rich area. So my dad also he was lucky. I told him this last time. My dad in the NYPD was a really good shot. Like for 2 or 3 years in a row, he was like best in the state. And because he had like little like accolades as a police officer, he was able to get a really high paying job at Suffolk County, which is I think the second or for most highest paying job for cops in America, like the whole country. Their cops are making like $100,000 a year. You know, it's crazy.
wow.
It's crazy as a
okay,
cop.
wow.
Like yeah, it's wild. So my dad got a really good job there. They had saved up enough money to put us in the suburbs. So we went from living with my grandma, who was like on welfare in a 2-bedroom project apartment, rent controlled, Lower East Side Manhattan, to living in Three Village, which was just one of the richest suburbs in New York. So it was weird. It was weird. I was one of only like 3 Hispanic kids in my entire school. My school was like literally like 98% white. There was 3 Hispanic kids, and it was a big school too. I graduated with like I think 1,700 kids, so 1,700 kids. Now, all those kids, I think there was maybe 5 Hispanics. There were two black kids in that entire school, which I felt even worse for them.
Oh.
And then there were about 20 kids who were like Asian and Indian. Everyone else was white, and it was like wild, you know. It was also wild to see that level of segregation. I come from Long Island, or that was on Long Island, which is famous for Robert Moses, who was this horribly racist white guy that like segregated a lot of the New York area. So it was weird, you know. It was weird trying to fit in. You know, I still have some of my oldest friends are there, and their parents still don't approve of me.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Because they think I'm you know, they think I'm ghetto. I'm from a bad family.
Hell no.
You know.
First of all, don't be judging by a
books by its
book by
cover.
yeah.
Yeah. These girls are 100% right. But you know.
I hate people like that. Like
Yeah.
there's some people right now that they see. Let's just say like a normal guy in a motorcycle, like with ski mask. Oh, like these like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to
Like
say
he's a bad person.
Low
like a
life,
Yeah.
Venezuelano. Like
I know it's
Like
insane.
your
I-
outfit, if you would just want to be comfy and wear like something baggy, they're gonna think something else about
right.
you.
Yo.
They're like, oh yeah, she's using this. Like she's probably on this. Like no, like y'all. I hate people who judge people like other people, not even knowing what they do, what that have going on in life. Like
Yeah. It was wild. Like the kids got it, but still, like they were from that generation. Like it's funny that Joanna brings it up because being from Manhattan, like I like to dress cool, like whatever. One of my best friends, like probably my best friend in the world, he's like my brother. His name's Shmuel. I'm not gonna. That's actually a nickname, but I'm not gonna give his whole name.
No, you're good.
Comes from a rich like Jewish family in New York, super white. They also lived in Manhattan. They live on the Upper East Side, which is like rich, you know. So we had like completely opposite experiences, even though we came from similar roots. And this kid in what grade was that? 7th grade, 8th grade, was wearing like leather shoes like you'd wear to like a wedding,
Why?
to school every
To
day.
school?
And I'd be like, bro, what are the like? I'm like, why are you dressing like a grandpa? He's like, and he would get upset because his parents made him dress like that because they're like, we're this rich upper class family, blah blah blah. And
You
he's
gotta
like,
dress appropriately.
yeah, he's like, these are like $200 shoes, Italian leather shoes. And I was like, you look like a dork. And it was stuff like that where his mom was like, she was just so judgmental. I remember one time I went over a sleepover at his house. His parents made us pizza, and it was like all this like Whole Foods,
Did
like
they
organic
make it, or
stuff.
did
They
they
made
buy
it
it?
by. This is the thing. They made it by hand, and they were so proud of it. And they were like, "It's all organic and blah blah." It was disgusting. No salt. Like it was like the worst pizza I've ever had. It literally just tasted like brown bread and like mozzarella that had no like salt. So it was like completely flavorless. So I was like, okay. And then his mom was bragging to me. She's like, my kids, they don't have like video games or anything. They don't have a TV or anything. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. She's like, I only make them read, and all their toys are handmade. And I look at their toys, and it's like badly carved pieces of wood. Now, to her credit, what she, as an adult, I now know, she was trying to use a Montessori like method of parenting, where you're like telling a kid how to play without directing their thinking, so that they're more creative. But I remember just thinking, like, as a kid, I'm like, this is all lame. Like, this sucks. Like, when Shmoo comes over my house and he's playing video games and he's playing with, like, my Legos or whatever, I'm like, he's having a great time. And, like, I don't know.
But I feel like rich people, like, they don't really get to, like, normal life. They get, like, strictly rules.
Sometimes
Yes.
Was that kid an
Sometimes I-
only child?
Was he?
No. And then I felt bad for his little brother and little sister because I don't want to say they're worse, but I don't want to say too much in case he sees this. I would say
Casey?
no. In case he sees this,
I was like, Casey, huh?
there was a big age difference between him and his little brother and sister, like 7 or 10 years almost. And his parents learned, or they thought, let's be even more strict. And so with the little ones, they were even more strict, which is
That's
crazy.
so sad.
But what's sad to me is, like Eileen was saying, like they don't get these normal things, get all these rules. I felt like Shmoo couldn't, and not just Shmoo, it was endemic. A lot of those rich kids can't relate to normal people because the experiences that they go through. Like their parents don't want them to relate to normal people. Their parents want them to be the like, I don't want to say elite because it sounds
Princess,
like
a queen.
yeah,
of the town.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like was if you dirty a shirt, throw it away, and then you could go buy a new one.
like
Yeah.
low key kind of like that. And I don't know. I always struggle. I should put up a picture of him too. He's handsome. He's always been athletic.
Okay.
No, look, listen. I'm not
Okay.
simping over my best friend right now, but I'm saying he's like, I'm gonna show you a picture. Okay, he's a really good looking guy. He's tall, skinny, athletic. He's been playing soccer since he was a baby. This man has had like 2-3 girlfriends his whole life because he can't relate to women. Like he has a hard time like connecting with a normal woman. I feel like the only woman that he could connect to is someone who was also raised like rich and is he's also genius and is a genius like him. So I'm like, I feel bad because he should have been married like this. He should have had 3,000 girls trying to propose to him, and me, the fat poor Puerto Rican from New York, is has a beautiful, amazing wife. So I don't know. Sorry,
Your
I went
wife are adorable.
oh, thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you. Sorry if I feel like I'm talking too much, but
No, keep talking.
This
Okay.
is
Go right
Get to
ahead.
Know Solar.
Okay, we got about 10 minutes left.
That's
but,
enough.
Yeah. Do you guys want to like ask me anything else? Do you want to like talk more about what we've talked about so far?
Joanna?
I don't know.
Oh, I was gonna say that the fact that like all those rich people, like their parents make them do theater, do band, do like be like in a lot of like different
Extracurricular activities. Yeah.
and me over here, like I'm grateful for what I have, but there's like some like white girls that be like, oh, but they have the iPhone 15. They're like, oh, I want the iPhone 16. Like, at least be grateful for what you have.
Yeah.
It's technically the same
I'm grateful
thing.
with some socks. I'm good.
No, good.
I'm
And
good.
then that's a good thing to have. We as people, we should always be like grateful for what we have, but aspire for more. You know, and those kids, bro, some of those kids, I still get mad. I remember this one kid, his name was Rob. And
Robin.
he was
would
the
just-
most,
Throw the money in the trash.
bro. Yeah, basically, he was the most spoiled kid I've ever met, and I knew kids who were way richer than him, but for some reason he was just spoiled.
Spoil you? Like,
He
full on
spoiled. Let me tell you a story. You know how like people like will play video games, they'll get like mad or whatever,
Yeah.
No.
or, like,
yeah.
tweak out or whatever, like throw their controller, punch a wall.
My brother is like that. I hate.
Because
Yeah, it's the stupidest thing in the world. By the way, those controllers are mad expensive.
No,
Anyway.
yeah.
And walls are expensive, whatever. It's a video game.
Literally.
Calm down.
Yeah, calm down.
I be telling my little bro, I'm like, it's not like if it's real life. Chill
Yeah,
out.
exactly.
I just restart the
Exactly.
game and then I try again.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly. Anyway,
Breaking
those people
the door.
always mystified me. But Rob, one time, he's playing Xbox, and we were playing. It was like a lobby with like 10 of us from high school. I wasn't friends with him. He was friends with one of my friends. That's why we were playing together. And he rage quits on Call of Duty. We hear him like disconnect, like because you know the mic goes like we hear him
Yeah.
disconnect. He takes his entire Xbox 360, which back then was like $200-$300, and he throws it out his window into the backyard onto his concrete patio.
What the freak?
Full on, like,
Full on threw a $300 console because he knew his parents were going to buy him a new one.
Huh?
That's okay.
Then
That's crazy.
his parents said, "Don't do that again, please," because you know
Obviously.
that's what
You
some of his
gotta,
parents
you
are
gotta
like.
be violent
those
And-
like,
white
and just
people be
scream.
I
so
know.
nice with them, even like with the dumbest thing
Yeah.
they do.
Oh hell no! If I had a kid, I'm throwing that kid out with the Xbox. Or what you
Not
want
the
about?
Xbox. I'm throwing
Save
the
up your
kid.
money. Go on the streets and go put up a sign. Help me fix my
Dude,
Xbox.
seriously,
Literally.
seriously. But he did it again 2 months later. His parents told him not to do it. He did it again 3 months later. But this time, instead of throwing it out the window, because I think they were partially mad that he threw it, like in case he had broken something outside. He took it to his kitchen sink and then just like opened the water, like poured water all over it, like destroyed the electronics.
Or if that was my kid, I would throw him out with the
100%.
Xbox.
100%. And
The hell?
he got another one. And I never heard another story about him breaking it because I think that was his parents' like last straw. But imagine how spoiled you have to be, to know that you're going to destroy this insanely. $300 goes a long way.
That's
Yeah.
no. That's
You know.
Back in the day, it was like hard to get.
Literally.
Yeah. Even now it's hard to get $300. And anyway, it was kids like that bothered me. So I actually forgot your original question. You're talking about the rich kids.
What question?
I don't know, the question about rich kids. But anyway,
I forgot.
Oh, you were talking about after school activities too.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why we're talking about this, like kids not being grateful for what they have.
Yeah.
Sorry. So it was rough. I wish we had more after school programming here. You guys deserve more.
Which you should do a cooking class.
I really
That's
want
what
to.
you should do.
I've been wanting to
Before
since
we
last
go
year.
to high school,
They
bro.
I
did
know.
that last year?
So we can
No,
cook for our parents when they get old.
Around like sixth grade,
Sixth
they did
grade.
it.
Last year they did a small cooking club, but it was like kind of weird. Like it was like learn specific recipes, and it wasn't that.
And
great.
it was like made with avocado instead of egg, which is like
Yeah, like,
nobody's gonna eat that.
Exactly. Like I want to teach you guys how to cook like real, especially like some like Hispanic food. But
I feel
Kano,
I feel
if you're
like-
seeing this,
Oh, yeah.
you should let
Solar and Kill.
Solar and Kill show cooking classes. Don't be that. What's it called?
Because
Don't be
because
like that. Just let them.
They're doing Saturday after school, right? Or school
Saturday
Saturday,
school.
Saturday
Are
school,
you
whatever
coming?
it's called.
I am teaching Saturday school.
I'm
You
going.
should do
Oh,
it
awesome, honey.
for
Oh.
Really?
cooking. And I will
I get
totally
paid for Saturday
come.
school.
Kano and
gotta-
Cifuentes, let
Let
Solar and Kill have their cooking class.
Okay.
Please.
I will try
Please.
to talk to them about getting
And
the
thank
funding
you.
for that. Please.
I'll give you a cookie.
Yeah, she'll give you a cookie. But yeah.
You want a cookie?
I
You
would-
want with milk? You want
And
cake?
then after you're done
K-pop?
with that cooking class, we can be the next day. Hey guys, I made some cookies and some cookies in
Right.
cooking class.
100%. I could also, if they say no, maybe I'll just, use Clifton's studio.
Go to your house. house.
Yeah, no. My
If y'all
small
say no,
apartment.
just know that I ain't talking to y'all.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
They don't talk to you anyway right now, so that's not much of a threat.
No,
But
they do. They be on me.
maybe I'll borrow Mr. Clifton's equipment and we'll do like a YouTube series
We should.
teaching kids how to
Low-key?
cook.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. But thank you for being here, though.
Of course.
We appreciate it. And
We got 3
For
minutes.
joining us on this
yeah,
Yeah.
podcast.
podcast.
You guys are sweet. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I'd love to come
And
back.
make sure to stay tuned for another episode of the Confluence Center. Thank you so much.
Oh wait,
and
no,
have
no,
a
no.
good
Hold
day.
on. No. Let's hype this up. Follow us. Oh wait, hold on. That's the one. I think I just broke them up. Follow us on YouTube, socials, Instagram, buy the t-shirt, Confluence Center at something.
Something.
We don't
Something.
have a shirt.
Okay,
We have
need to get a t-shirt.
pens. If y'all want pens,
We got stickers. Hype us up, guys.
Exactly.
Hype
No,
us up.
you have to hype yourself. Buy the stickers, buy the t-shirt, follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter.
and Facebook. Anyways,
Facebook.
Yeah.
thank you guys for another amazing podcast. We will see you in the next one.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye.